Okay, so now, so we want to use the dynamic routing now. It's more easy, right? So because you don't want to keep log into router one, router two, router three, and then just really ping, right? But if you just only say a couple router, like oh okay, it's not big deal, right? But if you see have a 150 network like that, 50 router something like that, in your backbone, that's just very pain, if you want to configure each router, right? To educate just only one network, right? So in here, so I'm gonna demo in here quick in here. So for example, I just directly using the BGP. Why I want to start the BGP? Because right now all the company they're using BGP now. Okay, but later on, I can knock we can explain we can knock down. I say from top to the bottom, right? So we can OSP, EIGRP, so far so on like that, right? I can demo it to you. So now, if we want to using the BGP in here, so we have to create an AS number, right? This is a BGP AS number. So we're going to use in a private AS number. So we'll say we start from 550, right? 660 here. So okay, so we use this one, and then we duplicate this one. Go to here. This is the AS number. That is for the BGP AS number. So we can use this as two. Oh, we have a just a, okay 02. We use this one as a one then. Okay, let me see if I can modify. So this is then we know is one. Okay, one, one, two. Okay, and then this is the three here. So this is the BGP. That is the BGP, right? So now, see if you create this, oh, smaller one. If we want to create the, let me see. Do we have a here? Okay, so that is mean in this network between here. No, I don't want this. I don't want this. Ah, come on, I messed up again. Hold on, I don't want to use this one. Let's go this one. Okay, so that is mean in here we have a BGP section here. Okay, and then in here we have a BGP section in here. So okay, see just the basic in here. So let's bring up the command line again, the CMI. Okay, now we do quick in here. For example, the router one in here, right? So we would like to create a BGP pair with the router two because we can change the routing information. So now the router one in here, we go to config P. In here, the first thing you want to type the command to this router is a BGP. Or if you put the question mark in here, you see it's showing what is available on this router. So this router is available to configure BGP, ERGRP, ISIS, ODR, OSPS, RIP. You see, okay. So right now we're just saving the time for us. We just stay with the BGP first, okay. So because we're going to demo for BGP for you. So now, so the router. So we have the next the router BGP. Now we have to follow the AS number. So this one is called 0001. So we hit enter. You see, we hit enter. Okay. So now, see, we are inside the configuration, the BGP protocol, right? So the first thing we want to use the simple command is called neighbor. You see, this is a neighbor because we want to tell the neighbor, right? Because we want to establish we want it's mean like we want to turn up the BGP section between router one and router two. So that's why we're going to say neighbor command. So the neighbor command in here we're going to say 192 168.12 and dot uh, 2. Okay, because that's a neighbor, and then follow the remote AS. Okay, so because the remote AS that is in the BGP is a 65002. So now you hit enter, just like this. Basic. See, neighbor 192.168.12.2. That is the neighbor, right? So now if you exit out again, when you show, you see when you show IPBGP, right? We don't have any prefix yet, any learning from the BGP yet, but we can see BGP summary. So we have a summary that is mean, say we have the summary is telling, say, hey, we want to establish BGP section with the neighbor. But right now we are in the active, right? Or idle. What is the active idle? That is mean if you're in the active mode, it's telling is if you run the debug, it will show you actually it's trying now. So the router one is sending hello, right? They're sending like a TCP 179. So you have to understand that TCP 179. Okay. So now if you go to the router two in here, same thing, right? This is the, oh, hold on. So now if you show run in here, I want to show you show run section BGP. So this is the look like the configuration. You see, this is the basic configuration. You see in the BGP, right? So now if you go to router two in here, same thing. You go to config key in here, using the router command, and then you go to BGP, and then you're going to 65002, right? And then you hit enter. You see? The same thing again in here. It's just a basic command. Say, just put the neighbor, right? Because the neighbor, who's the neighbor right now? Is the router one. So I want to say router one, 192, 168.12.1. See? And then we go to be remote. AS is a 65001. Hit enter. So now the router two, right, is configured a BGP pairing with router one with this interface. You see, right? But then the router two, I have another interface with router three, of course. And then we want to create another one. Is the neighbor to router three. In this case, we're using 23.1 because this is a neighbor 23.1. Okay. Oh, you can see already. See, this is up. That is mean because one is this is configure the neighbor like this is automatic is is turn up the is that is a good sign. Okay, that's the good sign. Okay, we check later. So now we configure this one first, the router three. So this is the remote AS 65003. We hit enter. So now we exit out. Now we show IPBGP here. Summary. You see? Beautiful. Look at that. So we have the BGP is up now between router and one. So if you on the router one in here, when you show IPBGP again, summary, right? You see, now you is learning. You see, it's up almost 1 minute. Okay, but then we still no not learning yet any prefix, right? Same thing in here. Show IPBGP here. We don't. Okay, so now we have R2. Now R2, we're going to go to R3. Just finish up first. Just make a the BGP, okay, section turn up, right? So just quick, we go to router three in here. Same thing in here. So the router three in here, right? So we are in config T. We have the config T right now. So we have the type router because that is the router protocol. Router, okay, router. We're going to be BGP, and then this one should be 65003. Okay, same thing is a basic. So near neighbor. In this case, we want to say 192.168. We want to pair with router 2. So that is should be, what is the router 2 IP address? The neighbor is a 23.2. And then the remote AS in here, it should be 65.0002. Okay, so now we hit enter. Uh-oh, I have mistake. That might be a typo. You see, typo. Okay, so let's make sure we spell correctly. Remote AS. You see? Okay. So now, if you want, sometimes to remind you when you're in the configuration, right? You want to know this neighbor, right? Actually, you can do like this too in here. See, in here you put a description, so you can put a description. This one say you can put like this. So just for example, this is BGP connect to router two. You can just simple description. So just give you ideas. So what it means is when you show run section the BGP, you see, it just give you more understand about who's this pair. Oh, okay, this is pair the, you see, the router two. Okay, so now when you show IPBGP summary again in here, you see, now you're perfect. You see, now it's pairing. Got it? So this is how easy. You see, now okay. So for example, see the router three here, right? The router three here. See, the router three know how to get to network, right? So now the router three, because see when you show IP route in here, right? Show IP route because he using the static because the PC2 doesn't have any pairing, no layer 3 routing. Okay, so that is mean the layer 3 have to be forced using the static IP to point it to PC2. How to know about the loopback interface? Okay, so now once we have a IGP, right? One is qualified IGP. What I mean IGP is like IGP, right? Everything inside here, direct connect, static, RIP, everything in here, the IGP, right? We can advertise into the BGP domain, okay? The BGP protocol. So what that means is in here. See, for example. So now I go to config T here. I'm going to say router BGP, right? We have to go back to BGP 003. You see here. Okay. So in here, you see now how we want to advertise. Now we have to advertise. So you have to little bit understand about in the dynamic routing. If you want to share that your network is always came up is we call it's a network advertise, right? So it's mean how you want to advertise that network to your neighbor. Okay, so in this case, you can use the redistribute the static into the BGP domain, but we don't want to use that because this is sometimes by mistake if we're going to redistribute your loopback or your something like that we don't want. It creates so many potential routing loop like that. But don't worry, you're the beginner. You don't have to be uh, get more detail about like that. Just basic. Just I want you to just understand how you want to advertise the network. Okay, either static, either BGP. Inside the BGP, how you want to advertise to the neighbor. So this is the command in here. So we're using the network. Okay, so put the question mark in here. See the network command inside the BGP. The network command inside the BGP, that means you want to advertise the network to the neighbor, right? So in here, you want to advertise 22.22.22.22. That is the PC loopback interface, right? So now you have to be exactly here, the mass address in here. So be careful in here. So see in the OSPF or ERGRP, they're using the wildcard. It's a reverse. But in BGP, you just want to exactly match the net mask in here. So the mask is here. Subnet mask is 255.255.255 because it's a slash 32. You can see from this routing in here. Okay, so this is the routing, you see. Okay, because it's 32, you see. Okay, so now you want to advertise this network, right? Now, before I hit enter, watch here the beautiful the routing here. See, this is the router two. You see, now when you show the IP route, you see I don't have a 22222 network, right? Now when I show IPBGP, I should do nothing, right? Now what happened in here? The router T. If I hit enter, see if I hit enter here, that is mean I advertise this network now. You see, look at the circle in here. This is the BGP. So that is me. So the router three now, I going to use the BGP to advertise this network. That is mean like sharing the information. That is mean it's automatic. It's a propagate. We call dynamic. It's automatic propagate to my neighbor. Right? Watch. If I hit enter here, you see, now what happened? So now in here, see, for example, if I show IPBGP, right? When I show IP BGP in here, you see, I have I have on my BGP inside the BGP, you see. And also you have to start with the greater sign that is a wireless routing, right? You see. Now, if you say show IP BGP summary, right? If I want to know is this 222 network is being advertised to my neighbor, so you can use this command show IP BGP neighbor, right? This is the neighbor. So the neighbor is 192.168.33.2. I'm going to say use the advertisement route here. Okay? When you hit this command, so I want to know just only from router 3, just to verify is that network being advertised into the BGP. So when you hit enter, you see it's beautiful. Look at that. Okay, so I will advertise to the neighbor. So now when you go back to router 2, right in here, if I show refresh this command, this time you see the earlier we have nothing on the table, right? So now if I hit enter, you see it's beautiful. I don't have to do anything on the router 2. See, before we had to use in static route, we have to add a key or something like that. But now router 2, since we have a dynamic, and also the router 3 is happy sharing this information to me. You see, so now I install in my BGP table. Okay, so now one I have in the BGP, I should have in the global routing too. When I show IP routing here, you see in the global routing, I have a beta is in BGP. You see this is the network. Via is learning from router 3. Now what happened to router 1? Right? The router 1, see same thing is nothing, right? If I refresh in here, you see beautiful. See, I don't have to do anything on the router 1, right? See, router 3 sharing to router 2. Router 2 say, okay, I'm happy, I take it. And then from router 2, and then because we have a sharing agree, because we have another BGP, then router 2 is automatic propagate, send it to router 1. Router 1 say, oh, okay, I have it too. You see, then so beautiful. See the dynamic, right? So now when I show IP route in here, see, now I have a B2 in here. You see? Now, for example, now if I go back to PC1, now if I want to try to ping 10 222 network, beautiful. Look at that. That we call is a BGP dynamic routing. See, from my small demo in here, it give you understand see how quickly using the dynamic routing, just like sharing, between the BGP pairing, the neighbor. Okay, I start in here. Any question here about what is the difference between static and BGP? You see? Yeah, e- exactly. But that's why I want you. I just demo to you how it's work. Then once you regroup it again, you review the video again, all right? And then you do your lab, and then you more understand how is the network. Got it? Okay. So beautiful now in here. So I'm going to stop the video again in here. Let me stop the video.